here at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium. Good crowd on hand this evening for the spring stomp under the lights here on campus. Second to last home game for UAlbany this season. Off the draw, it is controlled by Moreno. Moreno taking the opening draw. Connor Finger came in.
Numbers here in transition.
Sent right in front for Doherty, and a save made by Paquette. Rebound loose to Palem, which will reset the shot clock in Ivy League action this season. A bit of a down year for their standards, but consistently a participant and a threat at the national level in men's lacrosse. Near side, a sharp angle try, they score. Johnny Kibe whistles one over Brady Smith and in the visiting Bulldogs have struck first, a minute and 40 seconds into play.
A great heads-up play here by Yale. They're settling into their offensive set, and Kibe on that right wing just calling for the ball, realizing that, hey, there's nobody guarding me. UAlbany has a miscommunication on defense here. I've got to look. Sharp angle, and, I mean, he just tears that top corner down right there. Bit out of position.
Kibe, goal number 11 on the season, had an assist earlier this week in his team's game against Hofstra. A physical scrap off the faceoff, Matt, as you're mentioning.
Yeah, Marino and Waymar, what a matchup so far. I love the effort that Marino was giving for this Great Dane squad. No ground ball is created equal, and that one certainly wasn't.
He, C.J. Schwarz, Jazad Hall, Austin Oppenheim, and Dylan Maida have all taken faceoffs at certain points this season. And each have earned their opportunity in practice at certain points. Kibe steps down and he scores. One from the near side, another from the far side. Johnny Kibe has a pair, and Yale is up a pair in the early going.
Once again, UAlbany with some defensive mistakes that you typically don't see from this unit. Kibe is clearly covered right here. Number 33, Cade Galco, once again, was coming out and trying to pick off that pass. You could see Kibe saying, don't pass it to me, don't pass it. UAlbany just a hair slow on some of their slides. I think they'll start to settle in defensively, need to keep their sticks up in the passing lanes. This is a big Yale offense that likes the skip pass.
This time around, UAlbany will force the issue. Richmond fires and he scores! In a matter of moments, the Great Danes are on the board. Who else? Silas Richmond. It's 2-1.
And you know who's going to get the party started for UAlbany? Number 15, Silas Richmond. They get the odd man rush here. 77, Smith, just able to find Richmond. And once again, he is not the guy that you want to slide from if you're that Yale defense.
It was his fourth nomination in the America East category. 5 goals and 7 total points in his team's most recent game, a 15-11 victory against Vermont on the road. They'll go for it again, and they score! And in a matter of moments, the Great Danes have tied the game. This time, it's Alex Pfeiffer finding twine with his 10th of the year.
Very surprised at how much space Yale has given these UAlbany midfielders to dodge. Pfeiffer with the head of steam out of the box here, able to get to his right hand with a nice sweep and just buries it. Able to step into this one overhand. I mean, there's just no shot that Paquette is going to beat that. UAlbany offensive players, particularly the first line midfield.
Marino tried to knock it forward. He had that for the moment after he had found the ground ball, but it's taken away by the Bulldogs. Quick pace to this one for both sides as they're trying to generate offense off the faceoff, and Yale strikes back. The Bulldogs are back in the lead, 3-2.
5 goals in less than 4 minutes. We are going back and forth here at Casey Stadium, and in transition, once again, Yale not afraid to push the tempo. You see Leo Johnson here from X, pushes to the island here at 5-5. Neeson has good defense, right? But Leo Johnson, one of the best players on this Yale team, able to get his hands free. Brady Smith there, screened by Neeson, I believe, so he couldn't really get a great read on the shot. 3-2 Yale.
5 goals, and neither goaltender has made a save in this game yet.
Also Moran out there as well, number 22.
You've got Ben Wimmer making the pass towards Moran. As UAlbany looks for a lane. Richmond. Always need to know where he is on the field. Fired, and they score! Back and forth we go. It's Moran, and we're even at 3.
What a big-time boxing match we got going on right now. One punch followed by a counter, another counter from both sides. Watch the way the ball spins here, right? Getting that Yale defense to rotate, Richmond driving down the alley, and that's really the biggest thing that he's improved on, and the numbers show is his passing game.
Through 13 games this season. Near side, the handoff coming from James Reed. Taken away, and Yale will look to counter. One quick pass, now one more to the doorstep, and they score. Strong play by Chris Lyons to catch that pass at a tough angle. He works it in front of the crease and scores, and Yale is back in the lead.
His 25th goal of the season, he leads the team, and it's because of plays like this. Great look here from Leo Johnson in transition, and just jams it inside because he knows 44 and white has some really soft hands, able to catch that in traffic, trying to balance the crease as well.
Yale has turned the ball over 17 more times than their opponents in total this season. Relatively even now, Albany has turned it over 3 times to 2 for the Bulldogs. Popping out and scoring is Ben Wimmer. And surprise, surprise, we're back even at 4. It's Wimmer scoring his 2nd goal of the season. Had 7 last year, his other coming against Bryant. A quick pop out for Ben Wimmer, turning it, shooting, and this game is even at 4. A season of ups and downs for Albany to this point, but they will still have a chance to move their way up the America East standings with one more conference game next week as the Great Danes will control off the faceoff.
He's their man-up specialist. He's got 3 man-up goals for Yale, which is most on the team. At Ontario, again, you talk about those Canadians with the quick finish ability inside. That is what he is known for.
Worked all the way across. Pass got deflected. They'll still get a shot away, and that one would not go. Albany back to even strength as that last chance coming from Sharp from the near side.
You saw 2 times on that man down. Albany's so good of getting their sticks in the passing lanes. They really anticipate some of these skip passes that Yale is trying to throw.
That one is in. They score. So it's not a goal while on the man up, but in the vulnerable minute that follows. That chance coming from the lefty Leo Johnson, number 22 for him, and Yale is back in front.
And they certainly weren't anticipating this. Johnson, pass and catch there with number 13, Brad Sharp, and just said, I am just going to take it here, corner, from his perspective. And again, Johnson, who was one of the most highly sought-after recruits just a couple years ago, staying near his hometown, going to Yale, and coming out of the injury just a year ago. He's putting together such a great finish, and wouldn't be surprised if they try to take advantage of this short stick matchup here with Hardy.
Hardy, near side, sent up towards Richmond. Inside pass, trying to catch and shoot quickly was Reed. A very similar pass attempted twice by Albany there on offense, neither of which was able to generate a shot on goal. Meanwhile, they'll get one here, and it whistles wide of Brady Smith's net.
So just take the time, look it in, and then obviously finish quickly. Albany will certainly get one back.
Carson Kuhl worked his way across the middle with Jacob Smith following him. Right in front, they score! Well, there just wasn't enough to stop the oncoming Cole cash-in. And for the 2nd time in this one, the Bulldogs have a multi-goal lead. It's 6-4.
This is a great job here by Cash. A great little 2-man. Again, we talked about how much Yale loves to use the 2-man on the wing, and that's just a miscommunication there and a great individual effort. Tiptoeing goal line extended, dips just below, but took a great angle there on Caden LaPietro, who obviously you just got to try to take a better angle, force down the alley, use the sideline as another defender if you would.
Some of the fans here in the upper deck were moving backwards for a bit of cover as there is rain in the forecast and it appears to be on its way. So we'll see how that impacts our proceedings. In the meantime, Smith is able to make the save. Coming out from X was Lyons bidding for his 2nd.
Lacrosse very much, particularly the stick, the mesh of the stick can start to sort of sag out and the pocket becomes deeper, the ball will stay in longer, and passes, shots will tend to be pulled, go into the ground. So all players in this game, I'm sure, adjusting.
Shot from up top is through. It clanked off the stick of Smith and in. Leo Johnson completes his first quarter hat trick. And that's a big one with just over 10 seconds left in the quarter.
We've seen a couple goals now, just 5 yards inside the box for Yale.
They'll battle again for possession to open up our second quarter here in the Capital Region. Marino will try to chase that one down. Kicked and scrapped and grabbed by Yale. A fling backwards was successful, but it's knocked back loose. Albany able to force that turnover, as it never quite seemed secure for the Bulldogs, as hopping up in the air as he was falling out of bounds there was Marino to keep possession for the Great Danes. In their second to last game against Binghamton, 12-11, but it was a rough go against Vermont. Despite winning 15-11, they won just 6 of 28 faceoffs, as Richmond tried a near side chance, but he's going to draw a penalty in the process.
This is exactly what we talked about in the open. Albany's going to get those man-up looks. They're first of the game. They got to convert.
Hofstra had 8 opportunities to go a man-up, equivalent to 8.5 minutes of penalties against the Bulldogs in that game on Tuesday. They went 1 for 8, which equates to 7 for 8 for this man-down unit. Albany's able to find after that near-side chance. Palem fires and a missed wide.
And create violations on the shot clock like that for Yale.
Neither defense or goaltender has blinked yet in the second quarter, as our 7-4 score has stood. Sharp angle try, they score! It's Pfeiffer from just over the goal line extended. He scores, and it's 7-5.
It looked like Yale may have changed it to a zone there as Pfeiffer is going to X. You see there is some type of exchange on who is trying to play him, who's going to play him. He sees the confusion. He sees the hedge there from number 10, Jack Stuzen. Pfeiffer fakes the pass. Stuzen just hedges in a little bit to try to pick it off, but Pfeiffer never throws the pass.
And you were wondering, would Yale be able to respond after surviving their man-down chance? Knocked forward off the face-off, Jazad Hall will lead transition, but it's knocked loose. And Yale will take over. Recovery on defense by Luke Mahalik, the sophomore. And he was able to strip Jazad Hall after he grabbed control from the face-off. Our colleague Mike Tesserero mentioned so often, Brady Smith had experience before college playing just in the field. As that centering pass, score!
Wow. Wasn't that pretty right there? Talk about chemistry. Number 15, Silas Richmond, and 88, Colton Marquise. They are just on the same page. Richmond, we talked about his feeding ability. You see him carrying. And look at where his head is. His eyes are up all the time, even as he's dodging. Just a flick of the wrist there. He doesn't even look at Marquise when he makes that pass. He looks off the defender, and with his peripheral vision, every time the Canadian out of Quebec.
Well, Marquis has now scored in 8 of his last 9 games. He's got 4 multi-goal games in that stretch.
A nice look there by Moran inside. Hit off. I couldn't tell if it got up the crossbar or it got Paquette, but either way, went right to a Yale defender, and here we go, ball loose. We are going up and down here in late April.
Albany continues to add to its impressive resume on their man-down defense this season. They'll try another chance. That one would not go. Rebound is kicked back behind the net, and Paquette, who was waiting like a hawk to try to find that ground ball, makes the play. Now starting
Great
transition,
ride.
but turning it over. Marquis, score! And we are even at 7, and Albany creates the turnover to make it happen. It's back to even mid-second quarter here in the Capital Region. Sometimes your best offense is a good defense and vice versa. Pfeiffer creates the turnover. Marquis, Johnny on the spot with Paquette out of the net, 7-all. Here this evening, thanks for being with us. A face-off after a game-tying tally from Colton Marquis, and a penalty as flags fly for a hit that was laid off the face-off.
Again, Jacob was trying to just get his stick on the hands there of it looked like Waymeyer, but oh man, look at this.
Oh man.
Isn't this something, folks? I don't know if I have ever seen a lacrosse game in these type of conditions, but both sidelines are going crazy. As a great save there by Smith. How the heck, as a goalie, can you even see the ball in these conditions? I mean, are you kidding me?
I'm not sure, but the weather conditions have changed in an instant, as it was in the 80s this afternoon, and so you had to wonder when the temperature started to fall what would end up happening.
I wonder with these conditions if one of the coaches, Scott Marr here, will burn a timeout, try to give their players a minute to adjust here. Again, we saw him that Yale man up, number 48, Krevsky, lost his footing. So not only will it mess with your sticks, but your footing as well.
Doherty scores! Through the raindrops it went for Ryan Doherty. He squeaks one past Paquette. And Albany has their first lead of the evening.
Great job here from Doherty. And again, the heavy precipitation is going to mess with each goalie's vision. And I think you're seeing it right here. Also can affect the spin on the ball off of the turf. But Doherty, right as he gets above GLE, he knows that he's going to shoot there. And we know Doherty as a finisher on the inside, but you see him as a dodger from X. It's going to be somebody on that attack that you're really going to build your program around for Scott Marr.
That's one of the remarkable things, Matt, about this offense. Boast depth on offense. A lot of their top players, you're talking about sophomores or juniors at the most, and guys that will be consistent parts of this team for at least another season after 2025. As Smith makes the save, rebound as the stick was knocked loose.
And that'll go UAlbany's way as the ball remained in the cross there. That is a violation, automatic turnover.
UAlbany now 8 of 8 on clears in this first half, which has now under 2 minutes remaining. Folks, stay tuned. During halftime, we'll be joined by the head coach of the UAlbany football program, Jared Ambrose. Centering pass, score! Ben Wimmer found the soft spot right in front of the cage, and he scores. And the Great Danes have their first multi-goal lead.
Great physical two-man here from UAlbany. Physical pick set, and Richmond able to just get enough separation to get his hands free. We know how good of a feeder he is. And just puts a dime to Wimmer's stick on the inside, always waiting for a pass. No matter if the ball carrier is looking at them, if the ball is all the way on the other side of the field, they are always waiting and ready to catch and finish.
Moreno jars that one loose off the faceoff. And a violation is called. UAlbany can't believe it. Now there's just under 90 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, it looked like some type of hold that they called. I'm not sure if it was based on the faceoff itself or the wing play. Great check.
Stripped, and again, it's knocked back to center.
Slip and slide out there.
And the whistle blows before any of that, and Yale was
around the midfield line. But there have been some great ground ball fights, and we are seeing them. The elements have not been helping.
Pass right in front. They score. Well, quick passing there from the Bulldogs as an offense. They were able to find their man, Chris Lyons, right there in front. And Yale answers with under a minute to go in the first half.
Johnson to Lyons, a great skip pass. Lyons backdoor from X and just catches the UAlbany defense sleeping. It looked like number 46, Connor Gerlach, was in defense and just got caught hedging a little too much upfield. And bodies turned away from him. He's going to backdoor cut, and more likely than not, he will be open.
Well, it's now 9-8. A push is called, and Yale will get possession. So no timeout, and the gamble does not work for the Bulldogs.
I think that was Justin Lee through a great poke check right as that pass was being thrown, altered the ball flight.
Neeson tries to track it down. He'll fire from half. And a save made by Paquette. Rebound, loose in front and taken away by the defense for this group, in addition to how deep they run at attack and in the midfield as well. UAlbany in possession, up by a goal. First minute of play, second half. Rain continues to fall here at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium. Here is Kesselring. Sharp angle try, save made by Paquette. Rebound is scooped up off the wet turf by Patrick Pisano.
Yeah, not the greatest look there.
Heavy pressure once again, but this will lead to a penalty against UAlbany. And a hit late as a pass was made there as Neeson came in. Another flag was thrown, and that one's in the back of the net. Chaos up the field.
Oh, there's going to be a lot to sort out here. Another flag after the play.
Goal is good. The push down here is wiped off with the goal. 44 on purple. 1 minute, unnecessary roughness. White, 6. Unsportsmanlike conduct, 44 and 6. Penalties are both locked in for the entirety of the minute. It's going to be Albany ball.
Very interesting turn of events there. So the push is wiped out. This is the penalty that's wiped out here from Marquis. It is the hit after that, because it is high, and if anything, I probably would have seen a cross check there. I look like a pretty clean hit again. I know he doesn't have the ball there. Passing their decisions and their shooting, they're able to hit the net.
Finger came out onto the turf right as Yale was completing its clear. Meanwhile, Smith is able to make the save on that chance, but his outlet pass is stolen, knocked up in the air, still loose along the turf and batted backwards. UAlbany, after a miscue on that pass from Smith, is able to find it. Collision away from the ball. Pass gets knocked down, scooped up by Finger, and after all is said and done, UAlbany does complete the clear. And it's Smith working his way sideways. Skip pass is picked off. A bit hectic from start to finish on that possession that goes by the wayside for UAlbany. UAlbany 5-8, they are 2-4 here in front of the home fans, with a couple of overtime defeats on their ledger as well. As we talked about the America East standings, a couple of their losses have come by a goal, and Yale scores. And the Bulldogs have the first two of this second half, and they're back in front.
Really nice feed in front. It was not a great slide here from UAlbany. Bad angle taken. Great dodge here from number 14, Cashin. You see the double. Defender loses his footing, and wide open inside. Looked to be Moynihan with the finish. But again, the conditions, the precipitation, the turf is a little bit more slippery than it typically would be. Consideration when sliding, taking the safe angle. And right there, just overextending just a bit too much. Yale, a much-needed goal here in this third quarter.
Swept forward off the faceoff, popped high up in the air. Loose and collected there by Marquis. For UAlbany went on their goal-scoring run. Near side chance towards Doherty. Now it's Wimmer working on 2 goals today. He fires. That one would not go.
Fine take there from Wimmer. Just need to get one of these eventually to hit the net here, get a reset or a goal. But I like the UAlbany Great Danes here working the shot clock inside at 30.
Doherty goes up top. They score! We are even again at 10 as it's Richmond right along the turf and through. It's 10-all.
This is what Richmond does so great. Feeding the ball, he was dishing great passes in the first half, and now in this second half, you're seeing him become a goal scorer. Great look here from Doherty. Typically the other way around, Richmond and Doherty. And Silas Richmond just catches, no cradle. Just catches it across his face. And, I mean, he is just so big, so long, a crazy amount of power. And it also makes it difficult for the goalie when a player can get his stick that far back to track where exactly the shot is going to go. Richmond keeping it low and...
Beginning again with Parker Emmett. Emmett will try it from that same angle. Emmett right in front, and he scores! Parker Emmett would not be denied. And UAlbany is back in front.
What great contact balance here from Parker Emmett. Full speed ahead from X. Not afraid to get physical at goal line extended. And number 9, Hunter Bowen on Yale, just gets caught behind Emmett here. Has to do a better job staying with them there at X.
And UAlbany is in front as the conditions continue to worsen. As you can see, Carson Kuhl loses balance for the moment. Knocking his way inside. They score! In a matter of moments, Chris Lyons answers. Got inside position and scores.
And it's just that lacrosse IQ to know when you're able to roll back, that you have enough of an angle to shoot. Practicing that so many times in the backyard. Lions, it is just second nature.
Jazad Hall in to take the faceoff for the Great Danes after Marino was hit with a violation in the previous faceoff, and he had it but lost it out of bounds.
Absolutely. I really thought there would be a lot more turnovers from errant passes and rather less than players losing their footing, and it's been the opposite. Sticks have been very consistent for both teams, but Yale in particular has had a tough time staying on their feet. That time, just a big hit.
Jarred loose there as Neeson had it. It was knocked over the center line, and the whistle will blow before that. Albany will be awarded possession. Uncomfortable shot for sure. Allows for the carry by Will Hardy. Hardy knocked down to the turf, and Yale will take over. Physical play forces the turnover. Shots and shots on goal relatively even as that one would not go. A flag is thrown for the hit that was laid. For the hit on the chance for Cashin. Let's take a look.
I'm not exactly sure. It's tough. Matter of seconds. You see Cashin trying to balance along goal line, extend. He gets the shot off, and Neeson again is already coming in. There is a higher level of contact. Neeson is second penalty for something similar to that. So to be fair to these officials, Neeson knows the type of game that is being called here, so he's got to be cognizant of that on the defensive end.
Yale has had a handful of opportunities to go a man up. They cash in here. A chance right on the near side post for William Sheehan, a player who you mentioned to watch out for on Yale's man-up unit. They deliver, and it's 12-11 Bulldogs.
Beautiful ball movement here, centering it up top to Chris Lyons. And we mentioned the man-up specialist, number 25, William Sheehan, the junior goaltender will have no idea what happened, and you saw that there from Smith. Gets beat low, and Yale finally able to convert on one of their man-ups, just 1 of 4 up to that point. And now Albany in the offensive end, they need to look to carry that to tie this thing up.
Albany all-time is 5-5 here at home against the Bulldogs. They're just 1-6 down in New Haven. For Albany, they lost just 3 games, did the Great Danes that year, 2 of which came against Yale. 1 in the regular season and 1 in the national semifinal, as a penalty is upcoming.
There you go. You heard me say ooh, and that was because of all those hacks that Doherty was eating on his free hand. I was waiting for a slash to be called. Looked like that was Mikolashevsky just laying the wood. They're in their 1-4-1 set on man up. They're going to get it to Richmond. Watch the mumbo here. 2 crease guys bump out, and then the wing guys will pop back in, trying to create a look.
Kesselring. Worked up top here is Richmond. Palem fires. Save made by Paquette. The rebound went off the post, and he clamps down on that rolling ball. The netminder, Jared Paquette.
A good penalty kill by Yale, thanks to their goalie, Paquette. Albany is clearly seeing the low shots. They want to go low. They're testing Paquette. That's where they've had success.
That one gets knocked down. It's loose in front, and Yale is able to capitalize on what seemed to be a strong play by Albany's defense to block that pass. But the rebound was waiting right by that near post, and the Bulldogs are able to capitalize.
This is a case of just Johnny on the spot right there. I have no idea how that ball kicked around after Neeson deflected it. He somehow batted it almost backward, hit off the goalie Smith there actually, and then it ends up bouncing out. They can get a quick goal here. Again, about a 9-second difference between the game clock and shot clock. Take that momentum into the last quarter of the game. I think Albany is really feeling the energy right now. So close in a game they may have not exactly thought would be like, so high scoring.
Richmond spilled down, and it's jarred loose. 20 seconds to go. Yale looks to counter. Work near side post, spinning and firing. Save made by Smith. Rebound scooped up by Reed. He slips a hit and allows for transition. Pass in front looking for Doherty, and he couldn't get the stick around. Final chance that will go after the horn. Opening faceoff for our fourth quarter happening right now. Dan Ball, Matt Kearns with you on the broadcast here this evening. Thanks for being with us. Second to last game of the regular season for UAlbany. They'll wrap up America East Conference regular season play a week from tonight, right here at home. Battle for possession is won by UAlbany off the faceoff. Forcing the issue there is Galco, as Richmond will give one a try. Nowhere, but that's another conversation for another day as Richmond is hacked down. Flag is thrown, so it will result in UAlbany going a man up unless they find one here. Paquette the save.
Kept his head up as they had a second to the shot clock and roll with the punches, and he gets the job back, and he has played well.
Lions scores. Well, the extra second proves important for the Bulldogs as Lions fires past Smith and in, and it's a 3-goal lead for the Bulldogs here in the fourth quarter.
Once again, another just great individual effort goal. Talk about winning your one-on-one matchups. Lions decides to go to his left, a nice jump shot on the run, able to get his hands back, and Connor Gerlach there playing defense. You want to be able to get on his hands just a little bit earlier.
You wonder, given some of Paquette's struggles in the first half, if you talk about Richmond having the green light to shoot from the outside, do other shooters start to get more of a green light instead of finding those inside passes just like that? It's a 2-goal game on a physical play that leads to a shooting lane for Jacob Moran and a goal. It's 14-12.
That will get a bench fired up. Wait, room. Watch out. Jacob Moran, 6'1", 205. Watch how he gets downhill right away. Just shrugging off number 48, Max Krevsky. And Krevsky is not a small guy either. 6'2", 200-pound former All-Ivy League selection, getting bowled down, coming from a senior who brings a ton of leadership to this program. Has to get you energized here in the fourth, and the lead now down to 2 for Yale.
The face-off battle turns into a wrestling match again as Moreno lost a stick. They work it in front. And that one went just over the top from Ryan Doherty.
Out of breath here, and UAlbany needs to look to go to work.
It's been such a physical game that if you're able to get these extended possessions, Matt, as you mentioned, it's going to be oh so critical down the stretch. Kesselring works it up top for a shot. They score! Doherty doesn't miss that time around, and it's a 1-goal game.
He's got so much room. Ryan Doherty destroys that top left corner, goes stick side high on Paquette. And watch at the little miscommunication here in a good way from Kesselring. He goes, here, set me a pick to Marquis. Going to his right hand. As soon as he waves Marquis over, Kesselring rolls back to his left. Big burst of speed. You see the slide there.
Now, does Yale have the counterpunch? As these teams have gone back and forth, the biggest lead has been 3. Yale has done that twice. UAlbany got themselves up to a 2-goal lead. Smith is able to make that save. That's been the name of the game for UAlbany's defense, but Yale does maintain possession.
Neeson, once again, he always seems to be deflecting these passes, getting the ball on the ground.
Cashin makes the pass, worked all the way across for a shot, and a save by Smith, and he's got the rebound as well. He was falling down as he made the first save, but tracked that rebound.
And a lot of time leaked off the shot clock there, so UAlbany with 10 to shoot, they got to pick up a sense of urgency.
Up top, Richmond. 5 seconds to shoot, worked in front, score!
Are you kidding me?
Doherty diving to the net, and he scores, and we're tied at 14. Entertainment abound at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium. One more look at the game-tying tally for Ryan Doherty, his 36th. Have us even at 14. Don't go anywhere. Beautiful night here in the Capital Region and a great game on hand, non-conference action. As Yale had it off the faceoff, but it's stripped away by the Great Danes and picked up off the turf. If you're saying, well, Dan, Matt, pick a winner, well, your guess is as good as ours. Worked in front again. That one didn't have a ton of steam on it as Marquis was looking to turn and fire quickly, but an infraction ruled against the Bulldogs, and Albany will keep possession.
This has been a good one, and I think the officials have really done a great job.
The handoff from Emmett. And in games like this, you wonder what Silas Richmond has to offer. As the clock continues to wind down, Palum will try one, save Paquette, rebound, clamped down by the netminder. A couple of stray sticks of the opponents in there trying to draw that one free, no dice. With the game still hanging in the balance. And a game that very much feels like it's going to go down to the final possession, whoever ends up getting it. So again, it's about managing the clock at this point just as much as it is getting quality chances as Smith makes the save.
What a save from Smith. Brad Shart, number 13, one of their fastest players on Yale.
Johnny Kaib was able to win the race. Kaib, a pair of goals in the first quarter, got his group off and running. No shortage of goals as it's been a bit defense optional at certain points in this game, but now both defenses look for counters, and Smith makes yet another save down the stretch.
He is having an incredible fourth quarter. He seems so comfortable. Almost knows where the shooters are going to go. Again, a change in level there from Leo Johnson going low to high. If he doesn't, it shows that he likes the matchups and he likes the Albany defensive unit out there enough to...
Krevsky lost the ball. Albany has no timeouts. Under 10 to go. Smith's pass gets blocked, but it's scooped up there by Galco, who will fling one the length of the field, and it's caught and sent back the other way by the Bulldog.
Both goalies have, obviously.
This is Yale's first overtime game of the season, as well as their first one-goal game, win, lose, or draw. Still just over 20 seconds to shoot. Yale, a strong performance on defense to this point in the possession. Spinning is Emmett. Was looking to work a pass in front. Instead, it goes back behind the net. Centering feed. No one home. And Yale will take over.
Yeah, just a bit of a force.
Yale with
Bulldogs
numbers.
gonna push.
Shooting. Save made by Smith. And the rebound taken away by Neeson.
I mean, are you kidding me? Brady Smith on fire. Here we go on the other end.
Doherty, pass in front to the cage. They score! Colton Marquis, your winner tonight.
Oh my goodness. It's shaking here at Bob Ford Field. The crowd is going crazy. And the Great Danes walking off the Yale Bulldogs. What a hard-fought fight. The turnover to start the overtime period. Albany getting the ball back. Guess from who? It's Brady Smith. And here we go in transition. Doherty, one more to Marquis. Bullseye. What a toe drag there along goal line extended.